All right, guys, we're talking 3 high protein breakfast ideas that you can use to achieve your weight loss goals. They're fast, they're easy, they're really good, and you can use them as a traditional breakfast or a break fast if you're using intermittent fasting. So we're first gonna dive into my favorite type of high protein breakfast, and that's a smoothie. So we're going to be making a peanut butter vanilla smoothie. Now for the smoothie, we have 2 different sources of protein. We have a protein powder, but we also have Greek yogurt. I use a full fat Greek yogurt so that you also get the fat to keep you satiated and satisfied and to prevent sugar cravings. So we're going to use a half of a serving of protein powder and a half a cup of Greek yogurt. That looks roughly about right. This will combine to about 20 grams of protein. So if you want it to be a little bit higher, then you can double up on either the Greek yogurt or the protein powder to get you up to about 30 grams of protein. So we have our protein component drooling, always drooling during recipe videos. Now to make sure that this recipe is going to work for a weight loss goal, we need the fat and the fiber. So for the fat and fiber components, we're going to be using chia seeds as well as peanut butter. Now I'm going to use about a tablespoon of chia seeds, and that provides both fat and fiber. And then I'm going to use for that really peanut buttery taste to get also that fat in there as well. I'm going to use about 2 tablespoons of peanut butter. If you are working out a lot or if you have higher energy needs, you can use another tablespoon of the chia seeds. That'll also help to bump up the fiber content as well. Especially for weight loss, people often ignore or try and remove the fat. Those are actually really important to prevent sugar cravings. The sugar cravings are going to be what really work against your goals and really spike that storing hormone insulin. So it's crucial to get the fat to stimulate the satiety hormone cholecystokinin. Okay, so now to add a little bit more of vanilla flavor. Should have opened this before the video started. All right. That always works. So now for a little bit extra vanilla flavor, I'm going to just add in some vanilla extract. You can use about a half teaspoon, and that helps to just add a little bit more vanilla flavor without adding in more sugar. For the sweetness component, I am going to use about a half of a small banana. But if you are more carbohydrate sensitive and if you don't tolerate sugar very well at all, then you can just swap this out for either a half cup of cauliflower rice or like a half of an avocado. So now I'm just going to blend this up and eat everything in the process. So we have our peanut butter, high protein, vanilla-y smoothie. I think I forgot to mention this in the beginning. I used a coconut milk base, but you can also use any type of unsweetened nut milk as well. Oh my gosh, that's really good. So now for the topping. Wow, that one is really good. So for the topping, I'm just gonna add on some unsweetened toasted coconut flakes. This just helps to give everything a little bit more crunch, especially if you like to chew your food. This is a good way to kind of hack it with a smoothie. This is insane. Actually, it might be my new favorite smoothie. The vanilla extract adds so much extra flavor without adding on sugar that would work against your weight loss goals. That's really good. Nailed it. Second high protein meal. We're going to be making a really, really easy meal. It's just a cottage cheese bowl, which you can also use Greek yogurt. You can also use a plant-based yogurt that you stir protein powder into. I love cottage cheese because it's so high in protein. It's actually surprisingly high in protein. But you probably either love cottage cheese or you hate cottage cheese. Let me know in the comments if you're team cottage cheese or if your team, I hate cottage cheese. People have strong feelings about cottage cheese. Cottage cheese is one of the best sources of protein because already it's a vegetarian-based source of protein, but it's also surprisingly rich in protein. It's even more rich than Greek yogurt, and it's something that you can bring with you just on the go. This container has 19 grams of protein. Typically about a cup is going to provide you about 24, 25 grams of protein. So a lot packed in a small situation, but you can obviously increase this if you want to have even more protein. So if you want 30 grams or if you want 35 grams, do about 1¼ cups of cottage cheese. Or if you're going to be using a plant-based swap, just get a plant-based yogurt and then stir in a serving or serving and a half of a protein powder. What's really great about this one is you can bring it with you on the go. It requires 0 prep. It's so easy, but this provides a really fast, easy source of protein that you do not have to prepare or cook in any way. I'm team cottage cheese for sure. Instead of fresh berries, which can go bad really quickly, I like to use frozen berries. And you can have this, especially if you're bringing it with you on the go to have as a break fast with intermittent fasting. You can allow the frozen berries to thaw out, and it helps to add the blueberry-y flavor into the cottage cheese. So I'm gonna use about a 1/4 cup here. You can see that it definitely is gonna be a lot better once it's thawed. You can just stir it in and look how cool this is. It's like movie magic. It gets the cottage cheese be all infused with the blueberry flavor. So especially once this has been sitting in the fridge for even like 30 minutes or so, it'll completely thaw out and provide the berry flavor throughout the cottage cheese. And since it's a frozen fruit that you're stirring in, it means that you don't have to use as much of the fruit and as much of the sugar to get that same flavor. So especially for weight loss, we want to minimize the sugar as much as possible while still maximizing the flavor. Using frozen fruit is an easy way to do that. And then again, for that crunchy topping, you can use either coconut flakes or you could use nuts or seeds, whatever you prefer. I just have these pretty much always on hand. I love it so much. So you can just top it with some coconut flakes. I'm gonna use probably about 3 tablespoons or more.
Team cottage cheese.
Team cottage cheese all the way. Pro tip, take the blueberries and heat it up just over like a small pan until the juices start to release and then add it on. And it's just like a warm, porridgey, so good. Okay, so the last meal we have is my breakfast burrito from my 21-day intermittent fasting program. Growing up in Southern California, I love breakfast burritos, but they are loaded with like hash browns, potatoes, a wheat tortilla wrap, all the things that are really going to work against your weight loss goals. So instead, I made a few swaps here, but it still is amazing and really loaded up with protein. So we're going to start off with eggs. Eggs are a really great source of protein, although it's not as rich in protein as you'd probably think. Each egg only has about 6 grams of protein. So we're going to be using 3 eggs. That'll get us to about 18 grams. And then we're also going to be adding in some cheese to help bring it up a little bit further. You don't have to use cheese, but you can if you want to get the protein up higher. Or you could just add in another egg or 2. Be like Rocky, except not raw. Wolves. Before we scramble those up, I'm going to put in a 1/4 cup or so of onions. Technically, guys, this recipe is supposed to have red onions. I don't have red onions right now, so we're gonna use white onions or yellow onions. We're going to toss these into a pan over medium heat. I'm using some grass-fed butter in the base, but you can use coconut oil if you want. We're just gonna add some salt. Okay. So while that's cooking down a little bit, we're going to now just scramble up our eggs. Now, just like normal scrambled eggs, we're just going to add this straight into the pan over medium heat. So while that cooks a little bit, we're also going to get that cheese ready. So this is totally optional. If you don't want cheese, you don't have to add cheese, but it does help to provide quite a boost of protein. So cheese, just like eggs, is really rich in both protein and fat. And if you're getting a grass-fed option, you also get that added perk of vitamin K2, which is kind of hard to get from other food sources. So you can use an ounce if you're looking to get that extra full 6 grams to get us to a total of about 24 grams of protein for this meal. I like to usually add my cheese in at this stage because it just helps to melt it a little bit. So once it's mostly cooked, you can add in your cheese if you're using it, and that'll just help to melt the cheese, get it into the eggs as well. So I've really been loving these coconut wraps. It's just pure coconut. It's awesome. So you don't have to worry about the insulin spiking effects of like a wheat tortilla. You can use a coconut one instead. One thing to watch out for with a lot of these coconut wrap brands is that they usually have cassava flour, and cassava flour or tapioca starch is really insulin spiking. So you don't want to be opting for the coconut brands that also have some type of starch in there too. Otherwise it kind of defeats the purpose from a weight loss goal perspective. See, it says just organic coconut meat, organic coconut water, organic coconut oil, turmeric powder, and that's it. So that's what you want to see in the ingredients. You don't want it to have cassava, you don't want it to have tapioca. Okay, now for like what makes this so magical. So first we have avocado. You can't have a breakfast burrito and not have avocado. You just can't. So we're going to add an avocado, which gives us both the fat and the fiber. So remember, we want protein, fat, and fiber with your meal to make sure that you're satisfied and not going to be craving sugar. Lay that out so it's all ready. Load up. I don't even know if this will fit actually. We might need a second wrap. So now we have the everything but the bagel seasoning. I really like using this because it literally just tastes like a bagel. So it's really great to just top your eggs with to give it like that bagel shop vibe. If you want to, you can also add on hot sauce, or you can just leave it as is. But oh my gosh, I'm really excited to eat this. Oh my gosh, so good. This will make you feel so satisfied too. Now, if you really like the smoothies as an option for a high protein breakfast meal, definitely recommend that you check out this video next. Amazing recipe, one of my favorite smoothies. Also, if you're new to my channel and you love the science-backed information, make sure you subscribe right here. Come out new videos every Tuesday and Thursday. All right guys, thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll see you in my next video.